Fuck you. God damn.
Well,
All
I
right,
was
you
part of the
guys.
process too.
It's Saturday with Shala. We're bringing authenticity to a whole new level here this morning. Curiosity versus judgment. It's been coming up a lot for me, so I'm just going to. I want to work through it and make sure, I guess, get confirmation or validation that I'm not fucking crazy, right? In the realm of, I've noticed that a lot of judgment has been occurring not only towards myself, but towards, I'm seeing others seem judgy of other people or things in which they do or behaviors that they have. So when I think of judgment, I think of that, or I feel that there is a definition or a definite way and limitation on what someone is making of someone or something or about themselves, right? And with curiosity, because
It's almost like they're setting it in stone. Like I'm deciding this thing and now it's in stone.
yes, or even when
Almost.
they look at someone, right? Like, so based on how a person like dresses or talks, they're judging and assuming that that's the way that they're going to interpret something. I just recently had this example with one of my clients. I asked if she liked country music. And so it was interesting in the fact that I was curious about that, because for me, curiosity is when we're just radically curious, like we have our own perception of what we're seeing or feeling, but we're leaving it open for a different thing to be embodied, whether it's, and her answer was, why, yes, I grew up in Texas. And I said, okay, cool. But the way she responded made it kind of seem like I should have assumed that, right? Like there's a judgment behind like where you're located or what you do. There's like a assumption more so.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So with the curiosity, I've I've been using curiosity a whole lot more as well, especially introspectively and in my life, especially with anger. Instead of just automatically getting angry, if something like triggers me or upsets me, instead of just being angry about it and trying to respond, it's more like, well, where is this coming from? Where is our miscommunication here? Like, what is it exactly that you're trying to say? I just want to hear it before I respond. I want to make sure that, like, because everybody has bad days, everybody has shitty days, and, things happen, and sometimes our fuse is shorter than others. So most times when people get angry, it has nothing to do with you. And that's part of that curiosity that I've been carrying around, is how can I be curious about what's going on with them?
Exactly. I just got at Cycle Bar, when I instruct, anyone can give reviews on like the instructor. And I've gotten 3 comments now about my vulgar language and how it's like somewhat offensive to people. And sometimes like the first 2 were cool, like it was fine. But this last one really, really like got to me. So that was a prime opportunity of where like I got to take a step back and not only get curious around, wow, like what did I say that offended this person? But more importantly, wow, by allowing this review to impact and affect how I feel about myself,
Mm-hmm.
why am I like, what am I looking to receive out of this? Like, what am I wanting to get out of it by making it more about me and less about the actual just practicality of like, it was a bad review when I had already gotten 5 raving ones, right?
Yes, exactly.
Um, but I think that this can be applied towards anyone and anything. I think there's more subconscious judgment than what we realize in our lives. So it's a matter of being radically curious and understanding that curiosity is really the cure for like optimal experiences and living, right? Because if you're curious, there really is no boundary. It's like an open prairie versus like a fucking field or a farm crate in which you have to live in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. When you're curious, say, let's talk about, say, our friendship, our relationship. So I could, hey, so I could automatically be like, all right, I know Alyssa. That's it. You know, I know
Yeah,
Alyssa.
or I can talk to her. I can talk to Shala about this because that she's this, and this. When really, in 3 months from now, you may be completely different. You may have had an
Yep.
awakening or an evolution, or like establish a new belief or boundary.
And on top of that, like, I could decide I know these things about you. You could decide you know these things about me. But if we're always asking each other questions, like, so what are your thoughts on this? How do you feel about this? Even if we've already asked it in the past, we ask it again.
I think that's crucial what you just said for people who've been married for
I was
numerous
thinking
years.
that long relationships, that is so crucial. Like every year, ask the same questions that you asked the year before because you're different people now.
Every year, I even ask like for Friday night date night, like where would you like to go for dinner tonight? Like it's not like
And
let's
don't
go
give
get
me
the
the
fucking
standard.
fish fry.
Yeah, and let's not do the standard. Let's go outside our this zone that we've created. How can we get curious about where we've been and get curious about where we haven't been?
It's all around the realm of like surface level living. And another thing, as I'm talking and thinking this through, is like judgment only allows for A, surface level living, but B, like expectations and anxiety and disappointment. When we are judgmental or coming from a place in which we are trying to control and expect, we will be let down.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be let down. And then you're going to be grumpy and you're going to be sad. And then no one's going to want to be around you. And then you're going to be wondering why you're like not feeling alive. And it's because of the energy in which you're putting out and the inhibitants on the experience of life in which you're not embodying. Am I crazy?
No, just wordy.
And to think I try to be impeccable with my words. Less is more, less is
You and
more.
me, you and me both. And by the way, can I just say I love this vista? I love it. It's so beautiful.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So do you have anything else you want to say about this topic?
Nothing that's coming to mind. I think we covered everything that, I don't know, that's at the forefront right now anyway.
Well, and I guess we just get to stay radically curious in regards to whatever we said and whatever resonated with whoever's watching was exactly what was needed during that time.
Yeah. I guess the only other thing, I guess now that I'm thinking,
Here she goes.
wait a minute. Okay, so the only other thing that's coming up is, you know, on top of being a coach, you're also a personal trainer. And me as someone on the opposite side of that, where I'm been in the process of losing weight and I've lost about 60 pounds and I'm, you know, still going and toning my body. It's being curious about where your body is at. I think that's really, really important as in regards to releasing self-judgment, especially through that process, is where is my body at and where is it going to be at? And maybe what you envision doesn't necessarily have to be where you're going to be.
Or reframe it and say your goal is to fit into a size like 10 jeans, because I think that's a normal size. I don't know. I never wear denim on my ass. So say you want to fit into a certain size pants, who says you can't go lower? By being judgmental and having expectations around a fixed image and or thing, be radically curious in what the process is, like where are you at, where can you possibly be at, but what are the little miracles and the celebrations along the way in which are going to make that process so fancy that it's
So fancy.
going to be
So
so fancy and so rewarding that like the light within that process is enough to just keep continuing through the process. Like don't let it defer you.
I've found for myself that it's relaxing into what feels good, like what my body enjoys, and not being attached to that action. So right now it's yoga, but in 6 months it could be something else. So when I'm following the feeling instead of the action, it's just a continuous process.
Well, and as we teach in the transformation coaching that we do, if there's no like if there's no pleasure linked to what your end all goal is, you're not fucking going to do it, people. Like we are pleasure meaning making machines. So if something's not feeling good, if you're not getting a reward of something good, you're not going to follow through and stay motivated to continue to do it. So make it feel good. Let it feel good.
Get curious about how it can feel better.
Amen, sister. Amen. Fucking mic drop. Boom.
All right.
All right.
Love you.
Love you too. Mwah.